Today I'm going to cover 3 ultra compacts that I wouldn't waste my money on, despite the fact that all these strollers come from big name companies with huge advertising budgets. Note that I've criticized all of these models before, and not to toot my own horn, but they do all seem to have underperformed on the market, prompting a sweep of Band-Aid level updates, relaunches, and renamings in 2020, none of which actually fix the core problem that they all share. So today then, I'm here to tell you why I think you need to look past the marketing that accompanied all these makeovers, to explain why they're all still flawed, and to urge you instead to go out there and buy something else that will actually fit your needs. Before I get started, I'd like to make a quick disclaimer for those of you unfamiliar with what we do here, and that is to say that this is not a manufacturer-approved advertising channel. We don't sell strollers, we don't use affiliate links, and we don't receive payment in any form from manufacturers for our recommendations. Our qualifications for making these recommendations are based on a decade's experience of repairing strollers for private consumers, distributors, and manufacturers. So let's get started then, beginning with the Silvercross Jet. And despite 62 updates in 2020, the Jet still has significant weaknesses, based primarily on a core flaw in the model's design. You see, as far as I see it, the Jet is built by what my 12-year-old would call boomers. It's a boomer design, built by a company holding on so long to the now defunct umbrella concept that they can't even abandon it when trying to build something for the modern market. Structurally, the model's a hybrid, half umbrella stroller, half modern ultra compact, and far weaker as a result than it would have been if it had been all one or the other, because these elements work against each other, in that the inherently looser structure of the horizontally folding elements from the umbrella side of the design puts far too much pressure on the arm-mounted locking mechanisms, creating first and foremost a major breaking point on the model, which was not fixed during the supposedly major overhaul last year, and also leads to a fragile and rickety feeling when driving, as well as being the key cause of asymmetry issues with the fold. If you think I'm being harsh, please note that there's a strong element of hubris at work here, as far as I see it. The denial of a decade's worth of industry standards and mechanical solutions present in the design of most ultra compacts that Silvercross has flat out chosen to ignore. And this looseness isn't the only problem with the model either. As a whole, despite its flashy branding, just about every connection point is weakly riveted, the brake system is not disassemblable and built to fail in the long run, the front wheels are prone to develop wobbling problems, and what might have been the model's only actual advantage, a much larger than average top half of a seat, is ruined by the bottom half, which feels as though they've forgotten that children have legs. Alright, next up is the Boogaboo Ant. When the Ant first launched a few years ago, I'll be honest, we really looked for a way to like the model, because we really like Boogaboo. They're sort of the mad scientists of the stroller industry, always innovating, always building their own way. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but at least they're always original. The Ant is one of those that didn't work in my opinion. The handle is too loose, the front wheels are too small, the fold is too complex, and the model attempts to defy one of the cardinal rules for models of this size, by offering a reversible seat. Reversible seats are nice, I fully get that. That's why three-wheelers are still a niche part of the market, despite usually offering more bang for your buck than other sorts of models. But on an ultra compact, we're already dealing with the need to keep the dimensions so small that not suspending the seat directly from the handle arms becomes a real problem towards maximizing a stroller's age span. And the Ant's reversible seat unit comes at the expense of sacrificing virtually everything that counts. Seat size, seat walls, ease of use, mechanical simplicity, and leg support in the reverse position. One of the band-aids they threw at the model last year was an adjustable leg rest, purchasable as an extra accessory, just in case you don't feel you paid enough the first time around. But a band-aid is really all this is. It doesn't fix the Ant's other problems, which all stem from a single core design mistake of the model, that super cool looking, but unfortunately utterly useless fake suitcase mode. I'm not going to explain here why rolling your folded stroller as a suitcase instead of just rolling your stroller as a stroller is stupid. If you're interested, we discuss this in length in our review. But suffice it to say that Boogaboo seems to have finally got the point as well, and the second band-aid from last year was a much more useful carry strap. But this is again, unfortunately, not enough, because all the problems of the model, the loose handle, the tiny wheels, the fiddly fold, and the overly complex design of the model's tiny seat are all sacrifices made to get that fake suitcase mode in the first place. Shrugging their shoulders, throwing a strap on the model, and saying, oh well, I guess carrying the model is easier after all, is just lazy. They're supposed to be the creme de la creme of manufacturers, aren't they? They certainly charge like they are. And this is their only ultra-compact model, so why keep it around? If they can scrap actually awesome models like the Buffalo and the Runner, why not scrap a mistake like the Ant? Last to bat is the Cybex Lebel. And before you all jump me and say that the Lebel just launched and doesn't fit with what I've said so far about failure and updates and so on, you need to know that the Lebel is the GB Pocket. GB, aka Good Baby, as in Good Baby International, owns Cybex, you see, and the Lebel is just an updated reboot of the Pocket. All they've done is switch around the labels. With the Lebel then, we have the same essential problem that we saw with the Jet and the Ant, that the core design is again much more about how cool the designers could make the folding process and the folded package, rather than conversely about maximizing the tight space and weight economies that ultra compacts need to fit cabin luggage limits, in such a way as to provide the best performance when the model is folded out for actual use. Rather than the Jet's attempt to modernize outdated designs or the Ant's fake suitcase mode, with the Lebel we have an origami-style fold oriented towards folding down as small as they can possibly get it, which turns out to be quite a bit smaller than what is needed for cabin luggage. And in doing this, they just take it too far, with so many hinged elements connecting lightweight materials that the model feels almost unsafe to drive, at least outside of the airport. In addition, this smaller than necessary fold comes at the expense of having just a bare-bones seat with no footrest, a brake system even worse than the Jet's, and an overall structure very prone to develop asymmetry alignment issues down the road. That is, if you can make it down the road without actually breaking something. Remember that this is a gold line model, not a platinum model, which means that Cybex has cut all the corners they could get away with in order to focus on price, cheap riveting, cheap textiles, and so on. In the end then, the only real upside to the Lebel is that it's legitimately better than the Pocket, and while I'll accept that there could be a few people out there who might actually find a purpose for a stroller that folds this small, the fact that its actual use characteristics as an actual stroller are so poor means that it's definitely a model I wouldn't spend my money on. In any case, we hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, we ask that you subscribe, as it helps us to continue making videos in the future. If you'd like to know more about any of these models, we have standalone reviews for each of them, and links have been added in the description. In addition, if you are currently shopping for a stroller, we have a buyer's guide on our Patreon page which lists a wide range of models that we recommend, with a lot of technical and lifestyle related information. You can find that by following the link in the description as well. Thank you.